We started with $5 billion of unpledged collateral. We borrowed $200 million against it. So that's a loan to value of 4%. If Bitcoin fell 95% from that number, then we'd have to post additional collateral. People got their hands around the fact that we would adjust some collateral if Bitcoin ever got to 21,000, but it's really a non-issue whatsoever. You can think of it as like leverage of 1.04. If I was levered 10 to 1, we would have borrowed $50 billion against that collateral, but we borrowed $200 million. It's really it's a nothing issue.
Welcome to Bitcoin Breaking News. During an interview with Yahoo Finance Live, the CEO of the Nasdaq-listed software company MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, shared his Bitcoin outlook in May. The executive is still bullish on Bitcoin despite the recent sell-off. He was asked whether there is a price target at which MicroStrategy will start liquidating some of its Bitcoins.
Yeah, Bitcoin's two things. First of all, it's a non-sovereign store of value asset. So it's like a digital gold, but you can't make any more of it, and you can move it at the speed of light, and you can program it on a computer. And so that makes it interesting to people that would be gold bugs. But it's also an open monetary network. So I can move $1 billion from here to Tokyo and back again every hour. And I can't do that with gold. And so that makes it very interesting to big tech investors.
No, the CEO replied, "We're in it for the long term." He elaborated, "Our strategy is to buy Bitcoin and hold the Bitcoin so there's no price target. I expect we'll be buying Bitcoin at the local top forever." He continued, "I expect Bitcoin is going into the millions. So we're very patient. We think it's the future of money."
People buy Bitcoin because they want to buy an asset that they understand that might have value in 100 years. In the current macroeconomic environment, most corporations are beginning to realize that their cash is going to be a depreciating asset, and they need to turn their balance sheet into an appreciating asset. So the obvious thing to do is to convert dollars that are being inflated at, expanded at 15% a year into a scarce digital asset, and that's what Bitcoin is.
Commenting on cryptocurrency regulation, he noted that there's been a deadlock in DC and on Capitol Hill around stablecoin regulations and around securities token regulations. Saylor added that the administration wants to move faster, but Congress is moving slower. Those who've been keeping tabs on Saylor's comments should not be surprised by his uber bullish prediction. Saylor has long been bullish on Bitcoin.
I think this is part of a trend toward the digital transformation of balance sheets as people move from analog traditional treasury assets like cash and bonds into Bitcoin.
In February 2021, he told CNBC that there's evidence of more institutional adoption. He also believes Bitcoin will continue appreciating in value to the point where the cryptocurrency becomes a stabilizing influence for the entire global financial system.
What is kind of the hurdle that must be overcome for them to get comfortable with adding this digital asset to their balance sheets?
Well, I mean, the pitch is Bitcoin is digital gold, and it's sitting on the world's first digital monetary network. That network does the job of gold 1 million times better than gold. You can move it at the speed of light. You can program it 1 million times a second. And it's been appreciating versus the US dollar more than 200% a year on average for a decade.
Bitcoin has been called digital gold by some crypto bulls, and they tout its ability to serve as a store of value due to the fact that its total supply is capped at 21 million coins. Currently, there are 18.64 million coins in circulation, according to CoinDesk. Saylor said he sees the demand for Bitcoin growing in the coming years, not only from institutions but from individual people around the world, which would have the effect of pushing its value upward.
You can't decapitalize the company, and in the modern era, cash is becoming a liability because the money supply is expanding at 15% and the purchasing power of the cash keeps degrading. Holding a 15% degrading asset for 8 years means you lose 75% of shareholder value. So the pitch is convert your balance sheet from a liability into an asset to the benefit of your stakeholders and use the world's first digital monetary network to do it. Bitcoin was engineered to do this.
I think that you can expect that we'll have 1 billion people storing their value, in essence a savings account, on a mobile device within 5 years, and they're going to want to use something like Bitcoin, he contended. describing it as the dominant digital monetary network. In early December 2021, MicroStrategy announced that it had bought another $84 million worth, which brought its average purchase price to almost $30,000.
Bitcoin's digital gold. What Bitcoin is doing is rapidly replacing gold as a non-sovereign store of value. We've already got something on the order of 120 to 150 million people in the world using Bitcoin as digital gold. I think that number is going to rapidly march through 200 million, and we'll have 1 billion people that want to hold digital gold on a mobile device in the next 5 years. I think the right way to think of it is I want to convert my long-term treasury reserves into something which is 1 million times better than gold, that moves at the speed of light. And it doesn't matter if you're a company or you're an individual or an institutional investor, they all have the same problem, which is how do I preserve my monetary energy over long periods of time?
The cryptocurrency market has lost over $1.6 trillion since November 2021, but that hasn't tempered the passion of the Bitcoin evangelists. Saylor, who's been dubbed a Bitcoin evangelist, never backed down.
I think that millennials love Bitcoin because it's digital gold, and there's no way that 100 million people can buy a bar of gold through their mobile phone, but they are buying digital gold on Square Cash or PayPal or the like. But having said it all, they're just the vanguard. Eventually, the entire society is going to buy this. Institutions are coming into it. The Generation Xers are coming into it. And so it's an idea whose time has come. The millennials are leading the way.
In a global bear market, there is no place to hide, but there is one place to stand. #Bitcoin. The billionaire Michael Saylor wrote on Twitter to his 2.4 million followers on May 19th. He won't move. For him, the current storm is temporary. His vision is of the long-term prospects of Bitcoin, and it'll jump by a factor of 3. He continued, "The things that are going to drive the price long-term are going to be intelligent regulations as the SEC or Treasury."
Well, I think there's been a great advance in regulatory clarity over the past few years. I think the IRS and the SEC have both designated Bitcoin as property, and I think that's been very good for the asset class. I think that we can expect a few more regulatory advances that'll provide more clarity, and as Bitcoin approaches regulatory parity with other types of assets like stocks and bonds and gold, I think it's going to remove the few remaining barriers that have given institutions pause. I think 1,000 institutions, 1,000 corporations started adopting Bitcoin as an asset for investment in the past 12 months. I think there'll be an avalanche of thousands more that'll be coming as they start to see that this is a very high quality treasury reserve asset on parity with other assets.
Bitcoin evangelists like Saylor might seem pretty convinced of their positions, and why not? They hold large quantities of Bitcoin. Either way, we all might be in for a surprise. This brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click on the bell icon for notifications.